The original 3DO Need for Speed was released in 1994 and really was something special back in the day. Sure, now it may look like a picture slideshow at times, and the game was commonly called Need Some Speed even when it was new, but it was unique. For the first time we could play a somewhat realistic, for the time, highway racing game with pretty good car handling. Well, not compared to later ports, but still. Since the 3DO version was the first, it does suffer from a rather clunky front end. Plus it has that annoying jerk that likes to insult you. What was it with American game developers thinking people liked that crap? Never did myself, and I've never met anyone else who did either. In this original version we get 3 point-to-point tracks, each divided into 3 stages. Subsequent ports featured both the point-to-point tracks and new closed circuits. The 3DO version also lacks race options that later became available, but still, as I said, for the time, the Need for Speed was something special. First port we are going to take a look at is for the PlayStation. Boy, is this a big improvement over the 3DO game. Now we have a much better front end which is easy to navigate and makes more sense. That jerk has gone too. We also have different race modes, such as the one-on-one from the 3DO, race against a pack, tournament mode and time trials. The biggest improvement of course is the way the game plays. We now have a much faster and better handling game. On the original, it felt as if your car was 5 meters wide when playing on the cockpit view. That's no longer the case here. All viewpoints feel nice to control. Talking of which, there are more of them too. A new closer to the car and bumper view have been added. The extra courses are also pretty nice. Rusty Springs, Autumn Valley and Vertigo are their names. For me, Vertigo is one of the best. The Sega Saturn port of Need for Speed does feature music, unlike a certain high caliber channel once falsely claimed. The engine for this port is rather impressive. Draw distances stretch off right into the distance, with no pop-up present at all it would seem. Plus that horrible PlayStation mesh has gone. There is a downside though. The game does seem to run at a lower resolution and it does chug along in places. But there are some improvements, such as having a more challenging police system. In the PlayStation you're allowed to get up to 3 tickets before being arrested. In the Saturn game it's 2. Hang on, is that really an improvement? Well, at least it seems easier to pull off some awesome crashes in this port. Nissan presents Overdriven GTR is a Japanese-only release of Need for Speed for the Sega Saturn and PlayStation. This is the Saturn version shown here and was the first to be released in 1996. The PlayStation version came out in 1997. As to be expected, the car lineup consists only of Nissan vehicles. It's also impossible to crash them, unlike the Western version. There are other changes too. Some of the course names have been changed. Midday is now daytime, there are no cars driving in the opposite direction, there are only 3 viewpoints rather than 4. The close behind car view has also been removed. Strangely, this game features a much better quality full motion video playback engine, but features worse car stills. It looks like they were captured from a low resolution VHS or Laserdisc provided by Nissan rather than from real photos. This version of the game does seem to perform a little better, mind you, but the fact you can't have crazy crashes into oncoming cars is enough to make this the inferior version. In 1996, Need for Speed came to the PC as an MS-DOS or Windows release. This port differs from the 3DO version in that it includes 2 new tracks, being Transtopolis and Burnt Sienna. There are also various enhancements to the game engine. The Windows 95 version supports DirectX 2 and IPX networking. We are taking a look at the DOS version running with the settings all maxed out. Now I must confess that I had issues with the audio, so I've just dubbed over the sound from the PlayStation game. But what I can say here is that the DOS port on a capable system is the best looking version of the original Need for Speed, without getting into all sorts of patches and so on. It's also the smoothest with a solid 60 frames per second. I don't think it plays as well as the console ports though. The cars seem to have lost their weighty feel in this port. And let's take a look at all those versions of Need for Speed running side by side.